Are the Eagles the most confounding or improperly criticized 4-0 team that you've seen in a while? Chris, what do you got for me?
I don't know. I'm so biased because I have my, like I'm really honed in on this team. So I kind of have an understanding of who I think they are. And I think some people probably hold them to a standard that's a little bit unrealistic early in the season with two new coordinators. But, Sam Howell and Washington come out of a game where the Bills, I mean, that Bills flu is going around, as you know. I wouldn't judge teams too much off of how they look against the Bills, but the Eagles, while they didn't put up gaudy sack numbers, I thought the D line at different points in the game, which remains the identity of this team, the guys up front, imposed their will, gave great effort in big situations, whether it's Josh Sweat, a sack in the red zone, keeping, 7 points off the board, or, Jalen Carter's effort, man, it's contagious the way he's just scratching and clawing on 3rd and 18, on 4th and 2, Fletcher Cox, Hassan Reddick. And then up front, like the being able to run the football, having that high floor, the shots that you can take in the vertical passing game, which were big for them yesterday. I thought they needed a gut check. They got it. And it's a division game and a team that beat them last year. I mean, you have to remember that. I think Howell might be an upgrade over Heineke. Like sometimes he looks like Brett Favre out there in a good way, like a young chicken eating Brett Favre, because all he eats is chicken. But like, I don't think, I thought Eric Bieniemy and him did a great job yesterday. I would have gone for 2, tried to win in regulation. But the bottom line is they've been beat by this team in the last calendar year in prime time. And so it's never going to be easy. And they pulled that thing out.
So then what is it then? Because A.J. Brown got his and DeAndre Swift is getting his, and the offensive line is as good as it appears as ever. Is it Hurts just not looking comfortable or playing consistently? Like, so what is off to you about the Eagles despite winning every game that they've had?
Well, I think like I'm on the set inside the NFL with, we've talked about this on this show. Like I get to be around some really smart players that played different positions than me, and talking to Ocho and Jay Cutler and those guys, like, the first month of the season in the passing game, especially, well, I don't think, the Bengals are going to turn around in a week and be better. I do think there's a lot of teams that are working through it. And, the passing game is one thing that's infinitely complicated, and there's a lot of different variables. And when you replace a coordinator in Shane Spikeman, as Gronk calls him, I think he's as good a head coaching hire as we had this year. And you lose that guy, it's not insignificant. I don't care how well Jalen Hurts gets along with the coordinator. It's kind of like his buddy, his position coach. But it takes time. And so I'm not panicking about because the personnel's there. I still think the top end throws, Jalen's got those. The offensive line is dominant. And you've got a number one and another number one in Devontae Smith, who made 2 of the biggest catches in the game. After that, kind of inexplicable, but I get what they're doing. That shot they took to A.J. Brown where he kind of stopped on the route, there was a miscommunication. It was interesting. They check because the Commanders come down and show blitz, and then he's trying to get the check to A.J. Commanders stay in it. Jack Del Rio's just trying to heat him up. They get the grounding play. They needed a big reception to ensure that Jake would be in field goal range. Smitty again. So I think, if anything, I'd love to see the tight end get used a little bit more, and I'd love to see them getting on the same page. But when you have a front like that and a defensive front like that, I worry more about the defensive secondary than I do, the passing game offensively. And you saw that early in the game. Washington comes out, they're throwing the ball. Like, they're taking their chances with this rush, and Sam's hanging back there. Time to throw is 3 seconds. So, a lot of pressures, but they were confident enough to take chances. And I think that speaks to, the state of the Eagles secondary right now. Job's playing a lot of snaps out there and getting picked on a little bit. I would look to shore that up. I think the offensive stuff's going to work itself out.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.